Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel Biodiversity and Conservation. I am Subhalakshmi Rao from Ambika Prasad Research Foundation, India, and we are continuing our UGC NET examination series for environmental science subject. This is 15th part of Unit 3 Environmental Biology, and today we are going to discuss about ecological succession. So, in a community where there are different types of population present in a given period of time or space, um, there is never a stable population or community. Almost all biological communities are dynamic, that is, they change regularly over time and space. So, from that, we can know that succession means it is a natural change in the structure and composition of the community with accordance to time. So, here actually one community gets replaced with another community, and the process goes on until the final community comes into existence, which is in equilibrium with the climatic conditions of the area. So, the community structure and species composition also changes in that particular area where succession occurs. Succession is a directional change in the species composition over time, and it also refers to as the progressive change in the dominance and composition. Dominance means there may be more quantity of a particular type of plants in that given area, but after some um, calamities like natural calamities or other climatic factors, that population gets erased out um, from that area, and there is replacement of another type of species in that particular area. So dominance refers to as their amount, um, or the presence of a large amount of particular organism in that area, and thus the progressive changes in the dominance and composition of the community will never return back to its former state without any disturbance, um, which is called succession. Now, there are some concepts that are related to ecological succession or only succession. So, first one is sear or stage. There is a difference between sear and stage. Sear means a series of communities that may be plant or animal or microbial communities that follow one another in an ecological succession. From pioneer means the old and um, um, pioneer stage, and terminates in a stable climax stage. So, this shear can be of two types, primary or secondary shear. In the primary shear, there is the involvement of primary bare surface that has not been previously altered by vegetation, like um, from the start of the evolution of Earth, there was nothing but rocks and water in visible in the Earth's surface. So that level was called primary shear, and um, secondary shear is the revegetation of a bare area, which has resulted due to destruction of the previous vegetative cover, like fire or destruction by different anthropogenic activities. So when we revegetate that area, we call that secondary shear. And stage means any structurally distinctive segment of a shear is called stage. So next one is types of successional communities. So there are basically three types of successional communities. First one is pioneer community. They are the first community that develops from the early colonizers over a bare area. So, like on Earth, the first or the primary communities would be microbes and blue-green algae and all those species, which gave rise to the evolution of different species. Next one is sterile or transitional communities. They are actually the in-between species of pioneer and climax community, and um, they actually slowly build up the soil and help increase the biodiversity of the area. And these species are comparatively slow growing, and they live longer than pioneer community. And pioneer community has a high rate of growth but very short lifespan, but can produce a large amount of organic matter like algae and microbes in pioneer community. And third one is climax community. It is actually the stable and self-existing, highly stratified biotic community which develops during the end of the succession in a given area. And this community, as the name gives, it stabilizes with the existing environmental conditions and does not change into any other community on its own. So in this, the species diversity is also very high. Now, third concept is succession in different environments. So on the basis of the environmental conditions where the succession initiates, there are mainly three types of primary succession, like hydrarch or hydroshare, mesarch, and zirarch or xeroshare. So first one is hydroshare or hydrarch, where the succession starts in the aquatic environment like pond, lake, river, swamp, etc. And in mesarch succession, here actually the succession begins in the um, area which has a good amount of moisture, um, is called mesart, and zerat or xerosphere is the type of succession which starts in dry habitat which has very low amount of moisture like in deserts or on rock surfaces. So there are also um, different types of shears on the basis of where they grow or where they start the succession. Like under zero shear, lithosphere is present, which is succession initiating on rocks. Halosphere, where the succession starts in the saline water or soil. And last one is mechanism and pathway of succession. So, a mechanism of succession is the process of interaction that contributes to a successional change. So, it is actually prominent in a cause of vegetation change. And this mechanism varies according to the level of organization landscape ecosystem, community, and individual plant levels of organism. We will see different level of organization. In case of trees, the mortality caused by drought can be a mechanism at a landscape or ecosystem level, and competition is also a mechanism. Mechanism means it's a way, or a pathway, and there is also pathway means mechanism is a process, and pathway is the schematic, and pathway is the temporal pattern of ecosystem change. That is the sequence in which the plant communities develop or change during succession. Now, these are the stages of primary succession, pioneer stages or the earliest colonizers are present in this pioneer stages where um, lichen, algae, or microbes, etc., are found on rocks or soil. They break down those large particles into small uh, uh, particles that are called soil particles. And then the pioneer stage moves towards the intermediate or transitional stage. Here we can find grasses, shrubs, and some um, trees also. And in the climax community, you will see that there are so many trees that are mm, that have stabilized or changed themselves to withstand the existing environmental conditions. So they are found in the climax community. Now, there are some patterns through which succession occurs, and like primary, secondary, and cyclic succession. Here, in primary succession, this takes place in a habitat which has not been previously occupied by bare uncolonized ground, and and it occurs on newly exposed land, and the shear involved in this type of succession is primary shear. And next one is cyclic succession. Here, at any stage of this occurs in any stage of shear due to periodic regular disturbances, um, like starting with a new land, succession proceeds through a um, series of stages to reach the climax stage. So this is a subclimax stage where any disturbance like fire or or other factors may um, change the vegetation pattern uh, at a very short amount of time. Next one is secondary succession. It occurs when um, the community which have lived in a particular area has been removed, and it occurs when the vegetation is removed but the soils remains intact, and the shear involved in this succession is sub-shear or secondary shear. Next one is autogenic or allogenic succession. In autogenic succession, the prevailing environmental conditions get altered. Like if the environmental conditions are altered by the organisms themselves, then autogenic succession occurs, and In this autogenic succession, both the environment and the community changes due to some factors like and and they can be facilitation like the process where the side factors are improved through establishment of next year like there may be like during different cropping seasons in between the cropping seasons we plant nitrogen rich plants so that we can fertilize the soil. So this also comes in this facilitation process. And next process is inhibition, where the factors inhibit the establishment of new species in the um, given area. So factors can be facilitative so for some species and can inhibit the growth of others. And next one is allogenic succession. Here, the factors which are external to the organisms cause the succession, which is called allogenic succession. And in this type of succession, the habitat is changed by the actions of outside factors like change in climate, leaching of soil or nutrients, or floods, periodic fires. So they can change the existing environment, which initiates allogenic succession. And next one is autotrophic or heterotrophic succession. In case of autotrophic succession, there is early and continued dominance of autotrophic organisms like green plants, and this actually begins in a predominantly inorganic environment where there is the energy flow is maintained indefinitely, and this type of succession is seen during the early period of evolution in Earth. Um, and heterotrophic succession, it is characterized by early dominance of heterotrophs, and this begins in organic environment, and there is progressive decline in the energy content. Now, next one is progressive or retrogressive succession. The progressive succession gives us increase in biomass or diversity through time, and this is usually found in moderate uh, um, environment. And retrogressive succession, this type of succession uh, with a decrease in diversity or biomass, um, it is often seen in wet or dry sites. And these are diagrams explaining primary succession and secondary succession. First one, here you can see how there is primary succession occurs through uh, through the time, and this one is secondary succession where it is caused due to some external climatic condition, that is through fire or flood, etc. Here we will find grasses in the pioneer species, which we used to find in intermediate species in case of primary succession. And in climax community, we will find more mature forest or trees. So this is all from me today. Thank you.